Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. Today I want to dive in and give you guys some analysis inside of Bitcoin that's going to perfectly explain why 2021 is going to be the year where we see Bitcoin well over $100,000. I've been very adamant about explaining to you guys that 2021 was going to be the year where we see the biggest Bitcoin bull run in history. We're getting closer and closer every single day to that point, which is why for today's video, I wanted to give you guys all of my favorite charts that are going to perfectly explain why Bitcoin is going to be headed to well above and beyond $100,000 by the end of 2021 and how we can go about capitalizing on it. These are some of my favorite charts that have made me a lot of money, and I know that these are going to help out a lot of you guys out there that watch my analysis. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Make sure that you guys click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos like the one provided for you here. And guys, make sure you sign up and join the fastest growing and the very best Discord community out there in crypto. My Discord server has over 17,000 members and it's growing so fast. Make sure you guys come in and reserve your spot today by clicking inside the description of this video, and they're going to find the invitation link to my Discord server. On the Discord server, I also offer my VIP content like my video course and Signal. So if you guys want to copy my entire long-term portfolio, follow each and every trade that I take, as well as get access to my private VIP videos that I only make for members of my Discord, then make sure you stay all the way to the end of this video, because then I'm going to take a couple minutes to explain how you guys can get signed up, the pros of doing so, and what it's going to take to get you guys going today. One final thought before we jump into the video, guys, is to make sure to download my free ebook. This is made specifically for new guys getting into the market that want to understand a little bit more of the ins and outs of trading and investing. I've spent a lot of time dedicated towards making you guys this ebook because I know it's going to help out so many people, and it's something I wish I would have had when I first got in the market. So once again, guys, links are provided for you in the description to sign up or join my VIP. And with all that being said, guys, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, so to start off this video, we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite all-time indicators. Now this indicator is really where I've been basing a lot of my long-term investment strategy around Bitcoin, and it's honestly correlated perfectly to my plan that I already have. And so anytime you can find a bunch of key data points that kind of fit together to prove your overall conclusion and theory on the market, right? Or even just to get more data to see if there is even more correlations that line up. And so for me, guys, the stock to flow model has been one of my favorite indicators because I've just been so bullish on it. When I look at Bitcoin and when you study Bitcoin, Bitcoin itself is mathematically programmed. And so it's an equation all the way through. And we can look at it because it's open sourced. And so we can actually study how this math equation works. And when we actually look into the math equation of itself, all of the programming around Bitcoin, you're actually able to find a lot of key significance towards correlation in price and how the actual halvings correlate towards the appreciation in price. And so, in my opinion, this graph is one of the best ones that you're going to be able to find because it maps out Bitcoin's price history to a 95% accuracy. I mean, there's never been another indicator out there that's been this accurate, and so the fact that it's been this accurate up to this point makes me very confident in the longevity of this model, and I really do like what Plan B has got going on here. So now let's go through and explain it to you guys to explain really what it is, how it works, and how we can be profitable, and why it's important to understand how this works. So here we have this white line. Notice this big white line that takes these little staircase steps up. And then we have the price, and then we have the date on the X and Y axis. Now, over here on the left, we have all of the price. And we can see that when we take the equivalence of what it is that makes the stock to flow model, in this case, this is the expression. In this case, this is the equation for it. When we take this and we plug that into this chart, we can actually see that this white line is basically like an average price for Bitcoin's price based off of this stock to flow model equation, right? And so we plug in these numbers right here, and this gives us an average price. Now, when we actually overlay the price, which is this green, yellow, blue, and red dots, when we actually overlay the price, we can see that we follow this white line almost identically. Obviously, we peak above and we might peak below, but obviously we might peak above for a second and peak below for a second, but overall we're constantly following this white trend line. And this is really what the stock to flow model is. It basically takes the mathematical equation of Bitcoin and puts it onto this white chart, or this white line, I should say. And on this white line, this maps out where the price appreciation of Bitcoin should go based off of the stock to flow model inside of the equation, right? And so this is exactly what we've seen up to this point. The price has basically followed it identically. Now, a lot of you guys might be wondering, what is the deal with all these colors? What do they mean? Well, if you come all the way down to the bottom, you're going to start to see that this basically just means risk. So the more the prices are red, it shows that it's later into the cycle, and that's a higher time of risk. Whereas if it's down here in the blue, this is the best time to buy. This is when it's closest to the halving, and that's really where you want to be averaging into your positions, right? And so this just kind of shows you guys the risk to reward ratio. And so we can see here that down here in these lower support levels at the lowest point of the cycle, that's where we see a lot of the greens, the blues, those colors. And that's when the best time to enter is. Then when we start to see after the halving, once this line starts to go parabolic, that's when we start to see it go to red, to yellow, and these colors over here, right? Now, what I wanted to share with you guys before we jump into the actual analysis is we have this price appreciation over here. Now, this is mapping out that the price of Bitcoin will be at $100,000 by the end of 2021, or I should say by 2021, we will see Bitcoin to $100,000. And up to this point, we've basically nailed every single peak. This one showed about a $10 Bitcoin in its first cycle. I think we went up to like $32. This one was showing about an $800 Bitcoin. We went up to $1,150. This one was showing, somewhere around a $10,000, about $8,000 to $10,000 Bitcoin. It went up to 20, right? So we generally overshoot these multiples, but this is showing us that we're about to hit $100,000 in the year of 2021. And so I actually think we're going to overshoot that. My target's 250K personally, but this is just showing to you guys how accurate this actually is. We're just following the stock to flow model identically. And so if you're a new guy getting into these markets and you want to understand where you think Bitcoin's price is going to be headed, make sure you guys go check out Plan B on Twitter, because I promise you that this chart itself is really the only one you need for Bitcoin, and you're going to be able to outperform the rest of the market. Just buy and hold the length of this trend, and by the end of 2024, this shows Bitcoin being at $1 million. So I wanted to give you guys this graph real quick, just to explain my thoughts and perspective, because this is what's going to eventually lead us into the next chart, which is going to talk about a lot more of why we're so bullish and why next year is gearing up for one of the biggest bull runs we've ever seen in history. So here we are, guys, taking a look at the next chart on today's list. Now, each one of these black lines indicates one of the Bitcoin halvings. This is the all-time graph of Bitcoin. And so we're going to go through and I'm going to share with you guys a pattern that's going to pretty much just map out the correlation between Bitcoin's price and Bitcoin's halvings, and really how correlated it actually is and how important it all is. Because that's the thing, guys. In the stock to flow model graph, we can see that this is very, very indicative of the halvings. Each, in one of these flat lines before the next pump, we get the halving. So the halving happened here, we get the pump. The halving happens here, we get the pump. The halving happened here, we get the pump, right? And so this is the way that each one of these cycles works. And so when we actually take the halvings and we put them on the chart, I'm going to share with you guys even more analysis that's going to show why 2021 is going to be such a big year for crypto. So one of the patterns that I've noticed, basically we're going to do this little measurement for you guys. And this is going to analyze where Bitcoin's price is going to be headed and when we think that we could be topping out of each cycle. And it's going to show you guys how correlated it all is with this halving. So we get the halving number one right here. November of 2012. So if we measure from the very bottom of that cycle until the halving, we get our first number. So our first equivalent is going to be here. So about 364 days from the bottom to the halving. Now we're going to get the next number in our equation. Now we measure from the halving to the cycle top. And we can see that that comes out to about 378 days. And so what you guys are going to notice here is the amount of distance that it takes from the bottom to the halving is the same distance as the halving to the cycle top, right? And so what this is showing us is that the distance between the bottom to the halving and the halving to the top is the exact same distance in time, almost exact. This is about a week difference, about 2 weeks difference here, but we can see that these are pretty identical. So from the bottom of the cycle to the halving is the same distance as the halving to the top of the next cycle. And so this is actually an equivalent where we can take this pattern and we can actually map out where we think the cycle top for Bitcoin is going to be. So if we take this pattern and we continue it, let's see if it lines up again. So we measure from the bottom of the cycle. So that was right here. We go to the halving, which is this black line. So that comes out to about 546 days. Now, we continue it again. We go from the halving to the cycle high, and that takes us to about 518 days. And so this one's about a month off, but we can see that it's still following pretty closely to this exact same threshold, where from the bottom of the cycle to the halving is the same distance as the halving to the top of the cycle. And so we can pretty much see this at each and every time. It's mapping out almost identically. Now, guys, let's take this equivalent and let's apply it to the current cycle that we're in. So the bottom of the cycle was here. We're going to go from the bottom to the halving, 518 days, and then we're going to go from the halving to 518 days in advance because we don't know when the cycle top is. We're still waiting. So basically, 518 days in advance takes us to a top in October. Now, this is pretty cool that we can see how identical the bottom to the halving to the top is, because it shows you guys that each half of the cycle is the exact same length of time. It's 2 years in between. So we have the 2-year bear followed by the 2-year bull. 2-year bear, 2-year bull, 2-year bear, bull. And this is the way it works. It's each broken out into these 4-year cycles, right? Each cycle is 4 years. If we measure from the bottom of this cycle to the bottom of the next cycle, it equals exactly 4 years from low to low. And that's exactly what we want to see. And so when we even scrunch those numbers and comprise it even to lesser time frames, when we measure from the low to the halving and the halving to the high, we can see that each half of the cycle is comprised around that halving event, and then it also equates to almost the exact same amount of time in between. And so I think that this is just really cool, guys. I wanted to share with you guys some of this analysis because, in my opinion, it just perfectly explains how correlated all of these cycles are to the halving and how it all relies upon that halving. Because we can see that, you know, we go through this big parabolic move, we have these short-term consolidations, these bear markets, and then we start a brand new cycle in its place, right? And the halving kind of comes in the in-between stage. Now, we get the first couple higher highs on the new trend, and then the halving takes place. After the halving is when prices just explode, and they go super parabolic, right? So this is just slow consolidation, halving comes, and then everything goes vertical. Same thing here, slow consolidation, halving comes, and everything goes vertical. And the same thing is virtually happening here. In May of this year, we had our halving, and now prices have pretty much just gone vertical after this point. We're going to continue to see the same stuff play out, which is why we have to be prepared. We have to be aware of this stuff playing out. And that's why, really, guys, I'm targeting for the end of next year is going to be the cycle high. I do strongly believe that we're going to see another massive parabolic move. Really, we're kind of in the in-between stage between 2021. Really, we're at the very end stage before we enter in that crazy 2021 year, which I expect to be one of the biggest years for crypto history. So once again, guys, this is the video I had for you. I just want to talk about some of this stuff. I wanted to make sure that you guys are aware of the stock to flow model, because I swear, guys, this is one of the more accurate things that you're ever going to be able to go off of. I know a lot of institutions based around their investment portfolio on this exact stock to flow model graph. And because it's mapped out Bitcoin's price to a 95% accuracy, you simply can't ignore that. There's plenty of evidence backing this graph, backing this strategy, and that's why I'm super confident in it. When we actually dive into the actual halvings themselves, we can see that there's even more correlations. And so there's just too many reasons to be bullish right now. 2021 is going to be a crazy year, and you guys just got to get ready, be prepared, and be ready to just capitalize fully on all of this profit. Now, guys, as we wrap up this video, for the people that have waited this long, for the people that want to support this channel, and most importantly, for the people that want to make the most money for themselves, you should really check out my video course and signals. I offer 2 packages inside of my Discord. I offer the video course, which is 20 educational videos. They're going to teach you guys technical analysis. And then I also offer my signals, which is the ability to copy every single trade that I take, follow my exact long-term portfolio, as well as get access to private VIP videos that I only make for members inside of my signals. And so this is going to be the way for you guys to copy every trade that I take before I ever talk about it on the channel. This is going to be the ability for you guys to come in, follow my exact long-term portfolio, know exactly what I've invested into each investment, what percentages I've allocated my portfolio into each one. You'll know when I take profits, when I take a new trade, when I move profits, all of those types of things. So if you guys really just want a little bit more If you guys want a little bit more insight as far as what I'm doing with my money, then the best thing you're going to be able to do for yourself is to sign up today. Now, links are provided for you in the description. You guys can purchase them together or separate. If you can only pick one, I always recommend going with the signals first, because the signals are going to be the thing for you guys to come in, copy my portfolio, and then make all of the profit with me. Whatever you do with that profit afterwards, if you want to chase the course after, that's fine too. But I always recommend going with the signals first, because this is your way to copy my portfolio. Now, on top of that, guys, if you don't want to sign up for any of my VIP content, I do also offer a free ebook that's linked in the description as well. This is an ebook that's really going to teach you guys a lot of free content that I wish I would have had when I first got into the market. A lot of knowledge that's really practical that you can immediately use to be profitable inside of these markets. And that's why I've made it for you guys. It's just free to download. It's not going to cost you anything. And I know firsthand it's going to make the world of difference inside of your profitability. So once again, links are provided for you in the description to sign up and join my VIP or download my free ebook. And with all that being said, guys, I will catch you in the next video. As always, peace out.